Hello everybody, I hope you can hear me okay and that we are live. Let me know in the chat box if you can hear me okay and if you are there. We have a comment from SH saying hello, hi SH, I hope you're okay. Welcome back. Do we have any other people in the house who want to say hello? We have Huna. Oh, I've never seen your name before, Huna. Are you new today? If so, welcome to the live stream. And yeah, lovely to see you guys here. It's another Britcent live stream with me, Stephanie, where I'm going to be teaching you some different pronunciation today of words that probably you're familiar with, but you may not know that they are pronounced in different ways, in different situations. So that's going to be hopefully quite useful for all the language learners out there. We have Over the Moon here. Hello, welcome back. My day's been fine so far. Thank you. How's your day going? Huna says it is my first time. Okay, lovely. Pleasure to meet you too. Welcome, welcome. Hi to Chan. Welcome back, and hello to 123, one of my favorite nicknames on YouTube right now. Hello. I hope you've had a good start to the week. You had a good weekend. I'm trying to think of something new that's happening here in the UK where I am. I think the main thing at the moment, obviously related to the coronavirus, is that the government announced yesterday that from Monday next week, from the 17th of May, there are some changes to the restrictions in the UK. So things are getting slowly better, which is promising news after all this time in lockdown. I hope you guys are staying safe, and hopefully things will get better wherever you are as well very soon. It's been a tough year, I think, for everyone. Hello to Sky. Hello, welcome back. I hope you're okay. Does anyone have any news they want to share with us today? Anything you've been up to? Anything new going on in your lives? Hello to AR, welcome back. Hello, and we have somebody called Shay. I don't think I've met you before. Are you also new? Welcome to the live stream. Hello to Janny. Long time no see. Yes, that's right. How are you? I hope you're okay. The weather here in the UK, I always talk about the weather, typical, small talk, is pretty weird today, actually. It's sunny and blue skies 1 minute and then windy and cold the next. So it's a bit difficult to know what to wear. I woke up this morning and I put on a summer outfit, and by lunchtime I had to change into my winter clothes again. I was too optimistic, I think. Hello to Jiwoo, hello, welcome. Hi Silver Paper as well, hello. Shay says that they are new, okay, great, glad to see you here. Jenny says, I'm good, I've been busy with my work. Okay, working hard, huh? And it's very hot in Korea, like summer. Oh, lovely. That sounds brilliant. I love summer weather and summer clothes. Hence my getting into my summer dress this morning. Yeah, not time yet. Hopefully soon. So guys, let's talk about these words that I'm going to show you. 8 words that look the same. So they look like the same word, but actually they are not. They're pronounced differently and they have different meanings. We actually call these kinds of words heteronyms. In case you're interested, they are called heteronyms. That's the grammatical word, but don't worry, we're going to have a look at lots of examples and you'll get what I mean. Sky says it's 24 degrees there. Oh, that sounds lovely. And Silver also loves summer. Nice, yeah. Hello to Sue, welcome back. So we're going to start the live stream with a little quiz question today, guys. So I know that you love my mini quiz at the end of the live stream, but I thought I would give you a extra mini quiz at the beginning of the live stream and give you the answer at the end. So I'm kind of going to keep you in suspense with this one. I hope you don't mind. So I'm just going to show you on my screen a sentence. Have a look at this sentence, guys. This is a pre-quiz, Sky. It's a micro quiz. Yeah, I like that one. I think I'm going to call it a pre-quiz. Yeah, nice one. So have a look at this sentence. I'm not going to pronounce it, but I want you to think about the two words which look the same in this sentence. How would you pronounce these two words? Because they look the same, don't they? And what do they mean? So think about it. How can we pronounce them, these two words here? So I'm going to leave you with that. If you want, you can give me some suggestions now. But you'll have to wait until the end to find out the answer to this, okay? I'll give it to you at the end of the live stream. But in the meantime, we're going to look at the 8 words that I've prepared for you today, okay? So let's begin. Here we go. First word, this one. So as you can see, I've written the phonetics over there so that you can hopefully pronounce it more easily by seeing this. But of course, I'm pronouncing it myself as well. So you can follow along with me as usual. Try and shadow, try and copy me. Some of you are writing in suggestions for the previous slide that I showed you. Let's have a quick look. Okay, yeah, not quite right, guys, not quite there. All right, let's see at the end whether anyone else has guessed it. But it doesn't mean happy. Okay, so this word, oh, maybe you're thinking about this one. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I think I've jumped the gun there. I've gone a bit too far. So the first slide, this word, we pronounce it, as you can see from the phonetics, kontent. So the stress is at the beginning of the word, you can see, because of the little apostrophe before the K. So this means the first syllable is pronounced, kontent, okay? The meaning of this word, this noun, I've put N there, that means noun. The meaning of this is, well, it could be two things. It could be the subject of a book or a program, a website. So what is the content of that book? What's it about, basically? Or it could be the amount of a substance that's contained in something else, okay? So when you talk about, for example, I don't know, food or medicine or anything like that, you can say what kind of content, what is inside that thing, okay? So it could mean either of those things, okay? So some examples with this meaning, content. So you see I've highlighted it here. Vodka has a high alcohol content. So it contains, so contain is the verb, it contains a lot of alcohol, high alcohol content. Britcent creates educational content for English language learners. There you go. Like live streams such as this. And Shay says, I like your content. I'm glad. That's a lovely compliment. And lastly, her poetry has a great deal of political content. Okay, meaning that her poems have a lot of political talk in them, I guess. Like the subject is politics. Okay. So, yeah, you can pronounce it kontent. This is the noun. And you can use it in any of these examples. Let me know if you have any examples of your own using the word content. But we also have another word which is spelt exactly the same, but it's actually an adjective. It's not a noun in this case. So the pronunciation is a little bit different if you notice from the phonetics at the top. You can see here that the apostrophe is in the middle of the word, which means that the second part, the second syllable is stressed this time, not the first. Also notice that the O from content, the previous word, is no longer an O, it's actually a schwa, so it's pronounced k. So this word would be content. Content. Okay, so the previous one, content. This one, content. Do you hear the difference? Sky says, I am content with your English content. Brilliant. Perfect example. Well done. Yeah. So let me show you the meaning of this. This means happy and satisfied with what you have. For example, you can say he seemed quite content with the idea. Okay, we normally say that you're content with something. Okay, so yeah, like happy basically, or satisfied. So if we compare those two words, the first one I showed you, the noun, this one is content, the adjective content. Okay, so here you have a comparison of these heteronyms and the pronunciation there. Okay. Jenny says, that's what I was thinking about earlier. Ah, I thought you were because you wrote an example of that earlier. Yeah, that's right. So one more time, the noun is content and the adjective is content. Okay, so see if you can write an example. Can anyone write an example using both of these words? We have an example from Sky earlier. I'm content with your English content. Very nice. Can anyone else think of an example with one of these words, or both, if possible, in the same sentence? If you can, write it in the chat. Okay? But that is number 1 off our list of 8 for today. So I'm going to be moving on to our second set of words in a minute. And I'll come back to the chat to see if you've written any examples. So let's have a look at number 2. Okay, this is number 2. Notice the pronunciation at the top is base. Base, so it's A. This word, again, has different meanings, but it's usually related to music or sound. So, for instance, it could mean the lowest tone or part in music, for example, with instruments or voices. So if somebody sings in like a bass tone, it means that their voice is very low. Okay. Exactly. SH, bass, baritone. That's right. And it could also be the instrument, Janny, as you mentioned here. It could be the electric guitar that plays very low notes in a band. Could also be the double bass, if you guys know, like that, you know, the one that's like a very big violin kind of. That could also be bass. Okay. So some examples with this, you could say he sings bass in our local choir. Or you could say that song has a pounding bass line. If you say pounding bass line, it means that the bass sound, the very deep sound of the song is very loud and repetitive, pounding. So maybe lots of kind of electronic music has pounding bass lines a lot of the time. And she is the bass player in a famous rock band. So this would be the guitar, basically. Okay. So this is pronounced bass. Okay. However, we have another word that looks exactly the same in the spelling, but we don't pronounce it bass, we pronounce it bass. Bass. So you see the symbol there in the middle, that AE is like an open A. So this is a type of fish, actually. Sea fish or freshwater fish that people like to eat. For example, fresh sea bass is a great delicacy in some countries. Okay, so sea bass, that kind of white fish, very tasty. Do you guys like sea bass? Do you eat sea bass in your countries? Is it a delicacy? Meaning, is it very special and expensive? Just going back to the comments, Sky has written the pronunciation of the previous one, bass, yes, and bass, there we go, is different. 123 says, when the bass drops. Exactly, that's the best part of the song, isn't it? Hello to Sowu, welcome back. We're on to number 2. So this one we can compare again. Let's have a look at the 2 pronunciations. So the first one, bass. Our second one is bass. Bass, bass. Okay. Spelling is exactly the same, but watch out. Don't say he plays the bass, because that would mean he plays a fish. You would say he plays the bass. Okay. Shay says, I'm content when I eat the bass. I'm guessing you mean the fish, right? So I'm saying bass. Yeah. But if you say it like that, just one tiny grammatical thing, remove the. Just say bass when I eat bass. Yeah. Over the Moon said, I had a crush on the man who played the bass at the gig. Yeah, the bass players are always very intriguing, I think. And the signature dish of that restaurant is lemon pepper sea bass. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Nice. Sky has another example. Our bass singer wasn't content with a bass. Brilliant, brilliant. Well done. Hello, Chard. I haven't seen you before. Welcome. 123 says, is salmon a sea bass? No, it's not. So salmon is salmon. And sea bass is, I think the skin of the sea bass is usually silvery, like silvery in colour. But the actual meat is, or the fish itself is like white in colour when you cook it. Unlike salmon that's pink. So it's a different thing. Both equally tasty though. Huna says, I like the bass sushi. Ooh, very nice. Yeah. Again, remove the. Don't say the. Just say, I like bass sushi. Yeah. Well done, guys. Thank you for your examples. So let's move on to number 3 in our list of 8. Here we go. So this one. This one is a noun, and probably you know this one because it's quite a standard word. We were talking about the weather earlier, so this is a good one. We pronounce it wind, wind, and it means, you know, the weather, like the air that is moving quickly, okay? So you could say, for example, the wind is blowing from the north, for example. Okay, wind. However, the other word, which looks the same, might not be so familiar to you, is this one. It's actually the verb form. As you can see, the spelling is the same, but the pronunciation is wind. It's a bit different here, wind. So the previous one is wind. This one is wind. What does this mean? So, wind. Similar meanings here. So it means to wrap something around itself or around something else. Okay, so wrap or twist something around something else. Or it could mean that something has many bends, lots of twists. So something that is not straight, it's more like curvy, I guess, is another way of saying that. So I'll give you some examples. So if you look at the first one on the screen, a wooden staircase winds up to the top floor. So you know when you have a staircase to get upstairs and it's kind of rounded, like going round and round, like in a kind of twisted way, I suppose. So then you could say that the staircase winds to the top floor. Okay, so it goes in this twisted way. Or you could give someone an instruction when they've cut their finger maybe or hurt their finger. Wind the bandage around your finger. So wrap, it's like wrap it around your finger. Okay. And the other example, I need to wind my watch forward an hour. Okay. So your watch, obviously on the side of your watch, you have a little knob, little button that you can move. You can wind your watch forward. Okay. So as you can see, the same spelling, different meaning and pronunciation. I'll compare them here. So the first one I showed you about like the weather is wind, but the other one, the verb, is wind, like this. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'm just going to go back to the chat box. SH says, especially sea bass is in the peak in Korea. Ah, okay. Lovely. I like sea bass. Huna says, I've heard a word unwind. Yes, unwind is actually the opposite of wind. So you can wind the bandage around your finger and then you can unwind it if you take it off, for example. Sky has written winding road. Yes, you could say a winding road. So the road is going, you know, round and round and it's very twisted. Very good. Huna says, unwind myself, like relax. Yes, exactly. But don't say myself. Just say, I want to unwind this weekend, for example. So this means I want to relax this weekend. So if you imagine yourself like a rope, and during the week, because you're so stressed and busy, you are like very tight. So your body is tight. You're like imagine a rope around a tree, very tightly wind. But then you want to unwind, so you want to loosen the rope at the weekend. You want to relax, yeah? So your body relaxes, you unwind. So thank you for commenting on that. Over the Moon says the Biden administration struggled to unwind former president's policy. Yes, yeah, that's a good one. So they're trying to reverse the policies, I guess. Yeah, good. 123 has written, after the fight, the boxer unwind the bandages of his gloves. Perfect. Yeah, well done, well done. Careful of the past tense of this verb. It's an irregular verb. So in the past tense, you would say wound, which is spelled W-O-U-N-D, wound. And unwound would be the opposite of wound. So you could say the boxer unwound the bandages, okay, if it's past tense. Okay, good job, guys. Well done. Dasum, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, hello, has written, mother winded her baby with blanket. See, I wouldn't use it with a baby in this way. I know exactly what you mean. In this example, I would probably say the mother wrapped her baby in a blanket. So I'd use the word wrapped, okay? W-R-A-P-P-E-D, wrapped, okay? All right, 123 says, I got it. Brilliant. Okay, so let's move on, guys. We're on to number 4. We're halfway through. Okay, this one. Now, this one is an interesting one because it has both verb and noun forms, okay? The same spelling. Pronunciation is bow, and you probably know this one. When you move your head forwards or downwards, to say hello, to say goodbye, or as a sign of respect. I know that in Korea and some other nearby countries, it's quite common to bow slightly, so tip your head forward, maybe when you're saying goodbye to someone. Let me know if you do this in your cultures. In England, we don't do this, only when we meet the Queen or King, or if you are maybe an actor on stage and you're kind of thanking the audience for coming to see you. So an example with the verb and the noun, in this case the noun, he took off his hat and made a deep bow to the Queen. Okay, so in this case it's the noun, so a bow, and then the verb form, the pianist stood up and bowed to the audience. Okay, bowed is the past tense of bow, so it's a regular verb this time. Okay, so yeah, this is pronounced bow. Chard says, yes, we bow in Korea. Yes, I thought so. I've seen some of my students doing this. But we also have another word which looks the same, but it's actually pronounced differently. This is a noun, and it's pronounced bow. Bow. Okay, so the previous one was bow, and this one is bow. Now, I thought it would be much easier to show you pictures for this one, because describing it would just be too many words. So here we go. Here are some pictures. So in this case, a bow can be many different things. It could be, as you can see in the top left picture, a bow and arrow, like in the olden times in war, they used to use a bow and an arrow to shoot. It could be a bow on top of a present, maybe as a decoration. Could be around your neck, like a tie, a bow tie. Could be a bow on your shoes, your shoelaces, or it could be the stick that you use to play the violin or the cello or the double bass. We call this bow as well. So they're all pronounced bow, these ones. Some of you have written some sentences in the chat. Silver Paper says, I bow slightly to my neighborhood. Oh, okay, yeah. To your neighborhood or to your neighbors? I think you are probably referring to the people who live near you. Then you should say neighbors, because neighborhood is the area that you live in. Okay. SH says bow tie. Yes, you can wear a bow tie if you're very smart. And Over the Moon said they finally bowed to pressure. Yes, good one. Very good example with the previous word. So some examples with bow. You could say, I tied my shoelaces in a tight bow. Or he wore a tuxedo and bow tie to the wedding. Okay. So yeah, these two words are quite different in sound. You're welcome, Silver Paper, no problem. So let's compare them. The first one I showed you is bow. The second one is bow. So bow and bow. So somebody has written a comment. Thank you for that. I play the violin with a bow made of horsetails purr. Ah, fur, I think you mean, with F. Yes, okay, yeah, lovely. Yeah, very nice. That's a good example, a bow. Well done. Brilliant. Okay, so that was number 4. And I'm going to move on to number 5 now. But as usual, if you have any comments or questions, please put them in the chat and I'll come back to them if needs be. So moving on to the 5th pair of words. Here we go. So this one is one that you may know already, the verb refuse. Okay, so to refuse. Notice the stress is on the second syllable. Okay, refuse. Try and repeat after me. Refuse. This basically means to say no to someone's offer or to say no to something, basically. For example, my brother refused to allow anyone to help him. Okay, so he didn't want to. He said no to these offers for help. The job offer was simply too good to refuse. Okay, so we pronounce it refuse. All right, I hope this one's quite clear. Let me know if you have any questions. I wanted to add another sentence here, which I thought of later from The Godfather. I don't know if any of you have watched The Godfather. It's quite a classic film, one of my favorites. And in it, there's a very iconic line where they say, I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Okay, so the mafia boss, the Godfather, made him an offer he couldn't refuse. So that's the same use of this word, refuse. SH says, I have seen. I've seen it. Add the word it at the end. I expect that a lot of you have, because it's quite a famous one. Great film. Sky says, can I say refusing? You can, yeah. You can say, he keeps refusing my offers, for example. Yeah. But you'd have to remove the E from the end of the verb and add the ing. Okay. 123 says, good movie, you're right. Yeah, it's a classic, isn't it? But then we also have another word that is spelt in the same way, but it's actually a noun. And as you can see from the phonetics, it's pronounced quite differently. It's pronounced refuse. Refuse. So instead of the stress being on the second syllable, it's actually on the first one. Refuse. Refuse. Does anybody know what this means? Let me know in the chat if you know already what the noun is here. Okay. Looking back at the chat, Shay says, my crush refused me. Oh no. Yes, it is a sad example. Yes. Although, to be honest, I think in this situation, I would say rejected me, because we tend to use the word reject for people. So if somebody says no to you, maybe they don't really like you as much as you like them, we tend to use the word reject for this situation. Okay. Although, of course, I understand you, but it would be more natural to say reject, rejected me. Okay, so I asked you what you thought refuse meant, and Over the Moon has written rubbish. Well done, Over the Moon, that's exactly it. It's basically a formal word for waste, material that has been thrown away, so rubbish, basically. Okay. Don't put it in the plural form. It's an uncountable noun. So don't say refuses, just say refuse. Okay. For example, you can say the local council is responsible for the basic services such as refuse collection. Okay. So collecting rubbish from people's houses, refuse. That's it. No worries. Over the Moon says, how thoughtful of you not to refuse my request. Yeah, good one. That's a good one for the verb. Well done. So, let's compare. The verb is refuse and the noun refuse. Okay, so one more time. Refuse and refuse. That's it. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Potentially the second word was new for some of you. So this is a good chance to learn some vocabulary, hopefully. Let me know if you have any questions or problems with that. And we're going to move on to number 6 on our list. Here we go, number 6. So this one. Now, I think most of you might know this word. The noun, it's pronounced present. Present. As you can see, the stress is on the first syllable, pre. It could mean two things. It could mean a gift. So you can give someone a present, meaning a gift, like a birthday present, for example, or a Mother's or Father's Day present, or Parents' Day if you live in Korea. And it could also mean now, like in these times. Okay. And here we go. The first example, that t-shirt was a present from my sister, which means a gift. Another example meaning gift is at Christmas, family and friends exchange presents. And finally, you've got to forget the past and start living in the present. Living now. Okay, so present. So, yeah, This is the pronunciation of the noun. Okay, but then we also have a verb form, which is a little bit different in pronunciation because the stress is on the second syllable, and it's pronounced present. Present. It's quite different. The first one was present, and this one is present. So this means to show or describe something in a particular way. Okay, so you can present your information to people, for example. You can also present a person as well. For example, the committee will present its final report to Parliament in June. Okay, so present, like a presentation, yeah? Present is the verb, presentation is the noun. Another example, in the past tense, he presented the information to his colleagues. Okay. And the last one, on his retirement, colleagues presented him with a set of gold clubs. Okay. So, as you can see, different pronunciation, slightly different meaning as well. Let me know if you have any questions. There's a couple of comments in the chat, but they're not really related to the lesson, so I'm trying to filter through that. Over the Moon has written a good one. Happy belated birthday. This is a present for you. Yes, you can use that with the first one, the noun. Unjong says, I present a presentation for Startup IR Round. Okay, yeah, lovely. Although you don't need to say I present a presentation because it's a bit too many present words. What you should say is I gave a presentation or I'm giving a presentation. So normally you give a presentation, okay? Or you present something like the topic, okay? All right, so let's compare the two words here. So the first one we said was present. And the second one, the verb, is present. Okay, so you can see they are quite different in pronunciation. So try and shadow that again. The first one is present. Second one, present. I hope that helps. You're very welcome, Unjong, no problem. Yeah, that's it. To give a presentation is what we normally say. Okay, so moving on to number 7 in our list. We're nearly there, guys, and you're nearly going to find out the answer to that pre-quiz question at the beginning of our live stream. Here we go. So number 7 on the list. This one, a familiar word, but I bet some of you don't know the other pronunciation of this word. So let's start with the one that you might know, which is the noun form. This is pronounced minute. Minute. And I'm sure you know what this means. Yeah, so it means, you know, minutes on a clock, 60 parts of an hour. Or it could mean a very short time. So you could say that this live stream lasts 50 minutes. Okay, so we pronounce it minute. Notice both of the vowels are the same sound. I. So minute, minute. All right, a lot of language learners make, well, they say this wrongly. They might say something like minute or minute or different sounds, but actually it should be I, minute. Yeah. Annie, hello, welcome. I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, you can say that. Perfect. Goodbye, Deadly Night. See you next time. So, some examples with minute. You can say, boil the rice for 20 minutes. Or, it's only a 10-minute bus ride into town. And the last example, sorry, I can't talk now. I'll call you back in a minute. Okay, so practice saying this, minute, minute. Okay. Lots of my students pronounce this wrongly, so it's a good one to practice. But there is another pronunciation of the same spelling, which is actually an adjective. As you can see here, we pronounce it minute. Minute. So I'm wondering whether you know the meaning of minute over here. Okay. Does anybody know what it means? Does anybody know the meaning of minute? Hello to those who are joining us now. Dream of Gavin, hello. Hello to Akin as well. Do any of you know minute? It's a similar word to small. Very good, Deadly Light. Yeah, it actually means extremely small, extremely, like tiny, if you know the word tiny. We can also say minute, tiny. Or it could mean very detailed and very careful, okay? So let me show you some examples with minute. So you can say the kitchen on the boat is minute, meaning it's tiny. Or they found minute amounts of chemicals in the water. Or a minute investigation into her death was conducted. So that would, in this case, it would mean a very detailed and careful investigation. In the case of the first two examples, it means tiny, a tiny, tiny, tiny amounts, tiny kitchen, etc. Okay? All right. Okay, some of you are making comments, are a bit surprised about this one maybe. Did you know this word, any of you? Dream of Gavin said, what grade is this for? It's not really for a specific grade. It's for anyone who's learning English, any adults who are learning English and who are not native speakers. So hopefully you'll learn something, whatever level you are. I'm glad you're staying, Deadly Night. Good one. Hello to Warren. So let's compare these two words again. So the first one is minute. The second one is minute. So pronunciation is different, spelling is the same. So minute and minute. That's it. All right, so we're moving on to our final set of words. And you're finally going to be put out of your misery and find out the answer to the pre-quiz that I asked earlier. Here we go. So we have this word, which is a noun. And as you can see from the phonetics at the top, it's pronounced row, row. And the meaning could be two. It could be a line of objects or people next to each other. Okay, so you have lots of people next to each other, could be in a row. Objects as well, okay? But it could also mean as a verb, same pronunciation, row, is to row your boat. Exactly, move a boat through the water, okay? A rowing boat, which is something that one of you mentioned earlier on when I gave you the sentence that I showed. So let's have a look at some examples with row. So in the first one, you could say, we sat in a row at the back of the room. Okay, so everybody sat next to each other, like in a line, in a row. You could also say the vegetables were planted in neat rows. Okay, so they were all next to each other neatly, rows. Or you could use it as a verb and say the fishermen rowed us back to the shore. Okay, so row someone, so in a rowing boat. Yeah. Annie has written rowing boats. Yeah, exactly. SH says row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Yeah, very famous song, that one. And 123 says 10 wins in a row. Yeah, it can be used that way as well. Very good. Yeah. Here Here we go. The other one, however, the other pronunciation of this word is row. And it can be a verb or noun. Okay. Now, the meaning of this one might be new for some of you, row, because it's a British English word, usually more British English than American. So let's see if you know this one. But it basically means a noisy argument between two people or more people, a serious argument. Okay, so you could say, for example, he had a row with his son. He had a row, which means he had an argument. Or you could say they rowed about money. So you can use it in the first case as a noun, a row, or you can use it as a verb, they rowed. Okay. So yeah, to argue, to row. So going back to the original sentence that I showed you before, you should hopefully get this now. Let's compare those two pronunciations. So the first one is row and the second one is row. Row and row. Some of you have written some examples. Over the Moon says a row between the UK and France over fishing rights. Yes, exactly. Well done. Unjong says leaders rowed in a meeting. Yeah, well done, well done. And Annie says Sherlock always rows with Watson. Exactly. Very good. Yeah. Brilliant. So here we go. This is the example I gave at the very beginning of the live stream. And I asked you, how do we pronounce this? What does it mean? So hopefully you should know that we pronounce the first word as row. So the couple in the front row, yeah, and had a row. So the couple in the front row had a row. Okay? So hopefully this makes it clearer to you. So perhaps maybe this couple was sitting in a cinema or in the theatre, in the front row, yeah, and they had a row. So meaning they had an argument, a problem, yeah. Chard says conflict between them. Yes, some sort of conflict, some sort of argument. They had a row. Yeah. Brilliant. So yeah, that's the answer to the question I asked earlier. How do we pronounce this? But I do have a couple of other questions for you. We have a tiny bit of time left, so I think we can do this. It's time for a mini quiz. Let me know if you're ready to answer a couple of questions for this mini quiz about pronunciation. Some of you have written in the chat, ooh, aha, so it sounds like you've got it. And SH says the couple who are in front had an argument. Yes, that is basically what it means here. Yeah, they had an argument. That's it. Okay, so we're going to start our mini quiz. As usual, type your answers as quickly as possible into the chat. The first person to get the correct answer will win. Okay? Looks like you're ready to go. Here we go. First question. So, to get to the hotel, you need to drive down a long road that in the direction of the coast. How should we pronounce this word here? Is it A, winds, or B, winds? Write your answers in the chat. I'm getting some answers in already. How do you think we pronounce this word here in this situation? Is it A or B? Okay, we're getting some answers in. Very good, guys. But they are mixed answers, I've noticed. However, it looks like Sky is the winner of this round because the answer is A. Well done, Sky. Very good. We should pronounce it winds. So it should be read a long road that winds in the direction of the coast. So we said that this means that the road twists and turns all the way down to the coast. It winds. Okay. Well done to Sky. Very good. Okay, we're moving on to question 2 of the mini quiz. Here we go. Question 2. That clock is so, I can hardly see what time it is. So how should we pronounce this word here? Is it A, minute, or B, minute? Let me know in the chat if you think it should be A or B in this situation. Okay, we've got some answers coming in. Very good answers. Well done, everybody. Very good. It looks like Annie was the first one to get this, so well done, Annie. The answer is B. Yes, minute. Very good. So it should be, that clock is so minute, I can hardly see what time it is. Meaning it's so tiny. It's so hard to see it because the clock is so tiny. Yeah, very good, guys. Well done. Okay, let's go for one more question before we go. Well done to Annie for that one. You get a clap as well. Question 3. Our boss seemed with the we'd produced. I've underlined both words here. How should we pronounce these 2 underlined words? In which order should we say this? Okay. Should it be A, content, kən'tent? Or should it be B, kən'tent and kontent? Okay, we've got some answers coming in already. You're very quick, guys. Well done. Okay. Any other answers? Okay, it looks like Sky was the winner again. Well done, Sky, for getting it first. The answer is B. Very good. So it should be, our boss seemed content with the content we'd produced. Well done. So this means our boss seemed satisfied, happy with the things that we had produced, the content. Yeah. Very good. So 2 out of 3 for Sky. So well done to Sky for that. Well done to Annie for getting one of the other one right. Good job, guys. You've obviously been listening. Thank you very much for watching me today. But that is the end of the live stream. And I hope to see you again next week. I'll be here again, same time, so starting at 2 p.m. GMT time. And we'll have a different topic next week. And yeah, I hope I will see you there. Have a lovely rest of the week. Take care of yourselves. Keep washing those hands. Stay safe and everything. And I hope you found this live stream helpful. All right. Remember to subscribe to this channel. Remember to tell your friends about it and join me every week on a Tuesday, same time. You're very welcome. Some of you are thanking me for the live stream. You're very, very welcome. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Take care of yourself and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.